Hey guys, welcome back to the Passive Money Podcast. If you haven't seen us before, my name's Alex and this is Kirby. And
Well,
today's topic, we're going to be talking about mistakes, or not mistakes, but the difficult situations you might face in real estate. And we will hand it off to Kirby with his experiences. So, what was
all
your
right.
worst situation in real estate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really not gonna go into it's a lot of headache situations that go on out there, but I'll just give you my worst. All right. So this is when you start off a conversation in the military, you be like, no crap, there I was. You know it's about to be a big story. But there, but
All
that's how it was. So literally, I'm maybe 3 months into the real estate game. 3 months. And it's not a story about a tenant didn't pay or nothing like that. But this is the craziest story that I had since I've been a landlord for numbers of years now. And as you know, and people know that I don't manage, and this is probably one of the reasons why I don't manage my properties, but this is the first property and I'm managing it myself. And so I get a call, and the property that I'm managing is less than 5 minutes away from my house. It's about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and the tenant calls and say, my son just got stabbed by the next door neighbor. And I'm like, what? And then that's I just met you like 3 months ago. You paid me rent, but I didn't know what to do. So it was like, and then I'm like, oh God. And then the only thing I get into old military dark mode, and the first thing I do, silly me, I get in my car and go over there. Yeah, I get in my car and go over there. That's how the whole thing all started. And then so I get there, is police everywhere. The neighbor who actually stabbed her son, and this wasn't a, and her son was, teenagers, 16, 17. And I'm thinking, it's teenage on teenage violence, maybe even some gang violence in there. But then come to find out that it was the mother of the teen next door is the one who stabbed my tenant's son. And she's over there running off at the mouth, just running off at the mouth, running off at the mouth. And but like police is already there, everything's already there. And then so I go up to the unit. So yeah, so I'm standing outside. I'm like a bystander, just like what's going on up there, because I didn't know my rights, But technically, I own the property, but I signed over the rights to the property to the tenant. So first I'm just standing out there, and then and I'm listening to the lady just going off, blah 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 blah. And then I guess she recognized me because I just went over there to visit, and I was actually physically going to pick up the rent. Another silly mistake on my side, but I was physically going to pick up the rent every month, so she seen me, and then she was like, "Oh, she called her landlord too," and I'm looking like, so now I'm like, "Oh, it's about to get hot in the kitchen up in here," you know what I mean? So now I'm looking, I got my head on a swivel because I'm like, who the heck she talking to? I'm sitting right here, but she's yelling it. So, I don't know if she didn't call some people from around the way because I was there. And then so I'm looking, and then she started talking smack, talking trash. And then so I just walk up there to the unit, check on a tenant. Her son was already in the EMS and gone. And then the police show up. The police come in there, and then they asked me who I was. I was like, no, I'm just a landlord. And then the tenant called and told me what happened. And yeah, it was literally the tenant's son. He didn't like the next door neighbor's son. It wasn't they never been in a physical altercation before, nothing like that. But I think the next door neighbor's mom was one of those old school parents of, just take it out in the front yard and handle it. And my tenant's son is not a, fighter or nothing like that. And he didn't want to fight. And then she egged it on to fight. Then she jumped on. She actually, because her son wasn't doing nothing, so she actually jumped on my tenant's son. And then I guess she went above the rim Tupac and pulled out a razor blade out of her mouth or something, and then cut him. They said stab, but she actually cut him with a razor blade. And she was running off at the mouth like she was back in Compton or something. The baddie in the Compton just Like, yeah, I did it, so what? You know? So that was like the crazy part. That was like the craziest thing that happened. But the thing was, and she didn't know, she was running her mouth because I guess, and you know the area. The area was known
Yeah.
for, when I first bought the properties, it was known for being bad.
Right.
So she just thought she could do whatever and no repercussions was gonna happen to her. And I pursued it because first I got a tenant there. She's scared of the next door neighbor. Her son just got, you know, got shanked like he just was, you know, in Alcatraz or something. And then so I just pursued it, and then I talked to the, you know, condo association, and I talked to the board of directors, and and then the condo association board of directors did their part, and they had that because she was renting also. It wasn't like she owned her condo, and the board of directors forced us, the owner of the condo, to evict the tenant and kick her out. And ever since then, no problems. And the funny thing is, I still have the same tenant, been living there
Oh,
for I think it's 7 years now, and we haven't had any problems since. But that was the first one right there.
I've never heard this story. That's crazy, but that's hilarious. I mean, what do you do in a situation as the landlord? Like, what did were you didn't have to go there, did you? I mean, that is a police matter, is it? Or
Right, right. The thing you do is make sure the police get called, and you
right,
stay your butt at home. That's what you do.
right,
I mean, because I mean, like I was saying in the situation, it went from, you know, an incident between them to her recognizing me, like, oh, she called the landlord. I'm like, oh, did she call the boys? What happened? You know what I mean? So so yeah, you just make sure the police get called and you stay your butt at home. You don't show up. I mean, me, that was, you know, error on my part. You know, I just went straight to military mode. Oh, somebody in danger, go help them. You over there. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. But call the police. That's what you do. Call the police.
dude. I'm about to like cut this shit out. Holy shit, that
Keep it in.
dude. Holy shit. No, no, no. I'm gonna leave that like I'm gonna cut out like all the laughing. Holy crap. That's it.
No, don't cut out the laugh. Don't cut it out.
No, it's fine. Holy crap, man. That's crazy. Holy shit. Like I was not expecting this. I thought it was gonna be like I thought it would be like mold or something. No, no, there's a
Yeah.
Jeez. Man. Okay. Well.
You can leave some of the laughter in there. But no, you can leave it all in there, honestly.
All
But
right.
yeah, so I mean, that was like my first go at being a landlord. I was like, oh my God. If I gotta deal with this ain't the game for me. This just
Yeah,
ain't the game for me.
I can
And
imagine like go ahead.
good.
No, I can imagine like you wouldn't know what to do in that situation. Like it's your first property. Like, do you have to go there? Like that's insane. Like,
I wasn't up to speed on none of the landlord laws and what I had to do as landlord. But trust me, I studied after that day. I studied after that day because I mean I just had a newborn son and everything, and it even registered that why the hell are you even here? Like you paid for investment, what you about to go get killed over your investment? You know, or get shot, shanked. I could have been victim number two. They like call the EMS back. She's got another one. You know what I mean? So, but that right there was my introduction to being a landlord, and it shaped a lot of things moving forward. Like I said, I still manage those two properties over there. Well, that property over there in the county. But after that, I don't manage no other properties. I use property managers to have them deal with it. I mean, it's the other things that go into why I do it. Of course, location and don't want to deal with the calls. And I personally manage two tenants. And when I first got the units, they was not in the best of shape. And I got a lot of calls early on. But like I said, they've been there 7 years now, and I probably get a call from them once every 6 months, or maybe on like Christmas or something, they'll text me, happy holidays or something like that. But besides that, no other issues. But yeah, that was my first foray into being a property manager. And I was like, oh, this is real. this ain't passing like they said it was. Wait, you get shot over this stuff. And I was like, wait, we gotta adjust our management tactics.
Right. So like
Yeah.
now, because I you know this, I lived in that area for a couple years, but when you started investing, was it as bad as it was, or was it getting better? I mean, like, did you go
On
into
that area.
buying it? Yeah, did you go into buying the property knowing it was still a bad area, or did you see like the area getting better?
Like I said, it's 5 minutes away from my house. I knew nothing about the area. I knew
Okay.
nothing about it. I mean,
Okay.
the one person who told me about that they had rentals over there, they said it's a bad area. But I'm from Detroit, I grew up in the hood, so I'm thinking like bad. What's so bad about this? Florida? What's so bad about it, right? But yeah, it was
Yeah.
killing and drug dealing going on over there,
Yeah,
and
I remember it. Yeah.
it was some yeah, it was some no limit soldiers out there. Let's just say that. So, but they ain't briefed me on that. But even when I went over there and visited somebody, old high school friend, they was in town and their family actually lived in the area. And when I was there, I didn't hear any drama or nothing in the community. So I was like, oh, this is a good community. People just don't know what's going on. The joke was on me. Everybody knew what was going on. I was just the fool that didn't. And maybe that's why I got such a good deal. But now the community itself has turned around a lot. And we don't have nowhere near those problems. But yeah, it was a
And
very eye-opening experience.
it's funny because don't leave out how, like, was it the second property you bought in the same area? Like, even going through that, like, second property you bought was
What? Yeah. Well, the thing is now let me correct the story. That was the first property that I bought, but a month later. So again, this happened 3 months after I bought the first property.
okay.
But a month later, I bought another condo in that same community. So by the time I was going out there thinking I was Rambo about to go save a tenant, I already had two properties in the area. So now, first property, second property in the same area, I was like, oh, do I really want to do this? It'll test you and be like, do you really want to do
Yeah.
this? And
Wow.
that's when I was like, we better come up with a new management plan. And from there on, it's been good. It's been good. I mean, now I go there, I don't have no worries, but I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it was times where I had to tuck something up under the shirt just to make sure, you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
I was gonna make it out.
I know you've talked to me about like the HOA money and what you did with it. Are you able to talk about that here on the show, or to better?
Yeah, we can talk about it. So some improvements and changes that happened was, and like I said, I mean, like you said, you lived over there, so you knew how bad the situation was. The first thing that happened was actually the property management company. It was one person that they had. I'm not gonna say no names just for the sake and don't want to mess up people's careers, but uh, they reached out to me to be on the board for the individual condo association. And then I started there. And then I'm a numbers guy. I'm all about the numbers. HOAs and condo associations, the fees that owners are paying, it is absolutely for beautification and making sure the facilities and the surrounding areas are, beautification and making sure repairs are done and things like that. But
Right.
what I noticed as soon as I sat on the board of the condo association was the board members just hoarding the money. They wasn't doing nothing with it. They were just trying, I guess, seeing how big the bank account go. And HOAs and condo associations, they are nonprofit organizations. So it should be the money comes in, they're doing something to make the community better. But in this case, they was doing nothing. But they had tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars just sitting in the bank. So me with my financial background, I just went there just being a disruptor. I just went to being a disruptor in the condo association. Then I moved on. I mean, I still stayed on the condo board, but then I moved on to the HOA board, and I just did the same thing. Start deploying capital, making it better. It was just, after that incident with the police, it was like this, and then that's when I started hearing all the stories about how bad the community was. It's what I can sit here and complain with everybody, or I can try to make change. And I already had my money invested in it. So I had to go to extra leg work to get on these boards and start producing change. And it's other people on the board that got on the board also, that because the boards changed over and they was very motivated to make the community better. And then so all that saving the money and just hoarding cash and not doing nothing for the community, that ended. And then we start plowing a lot of money. And that's what the condo and homeowner association is for, to make the place better. I mean, put new roofs, you know, having gates that actually work, you know, having security, all the stuff that a large community like that needs. We implemented it. Of course, it was like the Indy 500 in there because there wasn't no speed bumps, and people would just come through, just speeding through. You know, kids playing. You know, implement speed bumps, adding you know, palm trees. We did the whole nine. We spent a lot of capital to make that. I'm saying we spent the community itself
Right.
spent a lot of capital. We were just the ones that was allocating and trying to figure out what's the best places for the community. And we've been getting rave reviews from the people, you know, the homeowners and even the tenants that live there to say how this place has transitioned from 5, 6, 7 years ago to how it is today. But that goes to show you, if your investment ain't working, don't just quit. Find out what you can do to make it better. And that's what I did. So I gave up my time to sit on these boards and use the financial knowledge that I know to make the community better. And the community is better off.
I think that's awesome because, in a sense, you actually used other people's money to better the area in which your investments were in. And
And the truth of it is, I bought, like, again, 7 years ago now that I bought those, and the property values on those condos is up 300-400% since I bought them. So it was, you know, it turned out to be a great investment, but it was more work that I had to put into it than I thought originally. But again, learn from lessons, you know, realize where the error is at, and then go try to fix them. If it's not working, don't just quit. Just go ahead and keep trying to work. And if you keep working and doing the work, then stuff will turn out better.
right, exactly. All right, cool. Well, guys, if you like this video as much as I did, please leave a comment down below. You know, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know any topics you might like us to speak on. And with that being said, Kirby, any other words or?
Oh, down there in the comment section, somebody tell me some stories that y'all had being a landlord or just being a tenant. Just tell me some crazy stories y'all had in y'all community, so I'm not looking like the only crazy one in the building and Alex laughing at me. But y'all have a good one. See y'all next time.
I will see you guys.